Hi, how's it going? I'm Marlena. Thanks for wandering by. So, today we are at it again for the second time. I'm going to be using this cool little prompt jar that you guys helped me create. So, I did a call out for different prompts to help me pick my tarot and oracle decks for the month. And so, you guys gave me tons of different suggestions, like so many. And I used this jar to pick I used the prompts to pick my decks for February, and it was really successful and really awesome, and I really enjoyed it. So I definitely wanted to do it again. So it's as simple as that. This is just a video today where we're going to pick. I think I'm going to do 4 prompts. Did I do 5 last time? Can't remember. So the prompts from last time did go back into the jar. So if we do get a repeat and I realize that we got a repeat, I might, try again. And also I am hoping for some prompts. So there's decks that I know I want to use this month. And so we'll see if the prompts fit any of the decks that I have in mind for the month of March. But I also have my list of 25 and 25. So I made a video of the 25 decks that I want to make sure that I try to get to this year in 2025. So I'm also hoping that the prompt fits one of those decks. So we'll dip into the jar and then I'll run over to my shelves. I might even like conjecture and, about what what I'm thinking of as the prompt comes up. And yeah, I got my big steaming mug of coffee. It's early morning and I'm ready to do this. So let's go. All right, first prompt. Oh, wait, let's shake her up. This is so fun too. I really enjoy it because I feel like I'm constantly like having to make decisions, and this like relinquishes my having to think about it. So this like totally helps. Okay, we're gonna dig in. And this is the one. This is the one. Oh no, there's two. All right, this one. And we definitely need the glasses to be able to read. So this prompt says, ba-da-ba-ba, a deck with silver edges. A deck with silver edges. Okay, I'm smiling really big because a deck that I want to use, I know, has silver edges, but I'm going to bring back. I think there's another one that I'm thinking of, and I'm gonna look at both and we'll see. Okay. Okay. So I know I have more decks that have silver edges, but these are the two that I grabbed. Well, the first one that I grabbed is, and it's in this, I need a new bag for this guy, but it's here temporarily. This is the Ostara Tarot. And you can see here are the silver edges. And I mean, this is a perfect deck for March. And in fact, I just made a video of all of the Seasons of the Witch Oracle decks and their perfect pairs. And the Ostara Oracle has to go with the Ostara Tarot, right? I like this deck. I have beef with it just because it's really hard to tell sometimes which suit we're in. I mean, sometimes the cup, like on that one, the cups were pretty visible, but on others, not so much. But I believe the Ostara Oracle also has silver edges. They're more like, I think, kind of like rainbow. This is upside down. Yeah. But so this is a choice. And obviously, the Ostara Oracle can factor into this too, right? Because it has silver edges. Oh, I feel like I need to go grab that one too. Hang on. So, yeah, the Seasons of the Witch Ostara Oracle. Let's just confirm that this also has silver edges. And I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, it absolutely does. That's so exciting. So, yeah, it has, these are the backs. So, I mean, it's like, spring, right? And this is Ostara happens, I believe, March 21st. 21st, 20th, 21st. It's the spring equinox. But yeah, here are some cards. This is the latest and final release of the Seasons of the Witch. And yeah, I just paired these two, or did a video where I was showing this pairing. And beautiful, right? And this is, yeah, this one's definitely silver edges. So exciting. Okay, I did grab another choice. So this works out so well. The prompt jar loves me today. Um, so I did grab one more just in case. I wanted to show as another option and might want to use this deck. This is the Jupiter Power Tarot. The Ostara Oracle Seasons of the Witch and the Ostara Tarot are both mass market. This is an indie deck from Six Sad Girls, or yeah, I think it's Six Sad Girls, Sad Sick Girls, Six Sad Girls. So look, you can definitely see we've got silver edges here. These are the backs. This actually might be a really lovely deck to use in March because it's all, oh, that's upside down. It's this like, palette that's all like greens and a little bit of blues, but it's all very plant and like kind of flower focused in the imagery. Actually, I'm thinking I might keep this out as well. I'm like triple, tripling my prompts here. Wait, because this deck is also on my, yeah, it is. It's on my 25 and 25 list. Where is it? Jupiter Power Tarot. Yep, at number 10. That doesn't really matter. It's not about like the number where it lands, but it is, yeah, it's on my 25 and 25 list. So I can feed two birds with one scone, as I've heard Julie say. um, so look, yeah, this deck is so pretty. I think March might be a really good time to use it. I've often used my like fairy decks um in the month of March, but I think we're off to a really good start. Look at that. This deck is all vibes. It's really like all vibes. Look at the Fool. This is cool. Yeah, so we have 3 decks with silver edges, and yeah, so we've fulfilled that prompt. We have the Jupiter Power Tarot, we have the Ostara Tarot, and we have the Seasons of the Witch Ostara Oracle. Okay, let's do the next prompt. Okay, so let's shake up the prompt jar and pick our second prompt. I don't know that I'm going to pick 3 decks per prompt. That would be probably too much. Maybe, but we'll see. And it doesn't mean I absolutely have to use these decks, but like this is a good, fun way as a guide. Okay, now let's see what the TBR, does the TBR jar still love me today? All right, we got one. Oh, this is a little itty bitty one, or I folded it into little itty bitty. All right, so let's see what this prompt says. This says a fancy deck. A fancy deck. What do I think of as a fancy deck? A fancy deck. So is that something that's very ornate, elaborate, something that has like, I mean, we have silver edges already, so it's gonna have to have like gilding, maybe something that's like, I don't know, maybe I'm starting to think that it should be something that's um like old art, like blingy maybe. All right, I'm gonna come back with a couple of choices. I'm thinking of a couple things that seem maybe a little fancy. All right, let's see what I can bring back. Okay, so the prompt was a fancy deck, and I have grabbed a few decks that I think might fit the bill. I don't know, I just kept thinking of like found art, and like like this, the Klimt Tarot. I mean, the Klimt Tarot, I love this deck. It's literally one of my favorite decks of all time. And it fits the bill because it's, it's fancy, it's blingy. Um, I don't know that that I would say that this artwork necessarily is fancy, but like, it's got the blingy gold. So that's what makes the Klimt Tarot feel fancy. I would be perfectly fine putting this deck in my March basket because it's a deck that I use, all the time. Um, I don't know if I'm feeling it right now though, like for whatever reason, I'm not feeling, the Klimt pull or vibe. Um, I also grabbed, let me see if any of these are on my 25 and 25. Nope, they're not. But I also grabbed the Influence of Angels Tarot, which is a deck that was sent to me as a gift from a lovely friend. And this deck, so it's gold gilded edges, right? So that's fancy. And then because it's like I don't have that many decks that have these like um this like more, like is this Renaissance? What time period is this for artwork? Um but it's found art and also, manipulated. But this looks fancy, right? This is what I think of when I think like fancy, like ornate, you know, gilded, very fancy. It's not fancy in I guess in like a modern sense, but it is. Look at that Ten of Swords. This is a really beautiful deck and I haven't used it yet. So maybe that's the choice is because it's fancy. I don't know why old world, why older artwork or more historical stuff seems fancier to me than like contemporary art. This is a really pretty deck. Oh, these are the backs. Yeah, this seems kind of fancy. So this is a possibility, the Influence of the Angels Tarot. And then I don't know if you guys are going to think that this is fancy, but this deck feels fancy to me. I have it in this, I have it in this satin bag. Um, I probably need a new bag for it as well. But this is Le Tarot Noir. So this is like probably the one Marseille deck that I've really used the most. So it is fancy because it has the gold gilding. So silver gilding, gold gilding, or edging or whatever you want. These are the backs. So this one's glossy. Oh my gosh, you can like see my reflection in it. Yeah, let me see if I pull back a little bit, it's not as reflective. This seems super fancy to me. So this is, illustrated. I feel like Marseille seems a little bit fancier to me. Like, right? Do you guys agree? This is feeling like the right choice for a fancy deck. And I know it's like maybe not the right time because there were like, March is like coming into spring, so like the colors don't necessarily match March, but I guess that's the point of doing this like TBR jar that I'm just like not that I do like really do things seasonally necessarily anyway. Um yeah, look at this. The Lovers. It's so I mean, and I've been wanting to do more Marseille in general. I do have a Marseille deck on my 25 and 25 and it's not this one. But I think um I think I might enjoy this. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with Le Tarot Noir for my fancy deck in my fancy deck prompt. All right. Okay, so that is two prompts down, two more to go. Let's shake up the jar and see what she says or who says. I feel like I'm like assigning the jar as a she, but the prompts are he. This guy keeps saying. Okay, let's shake it around and see. All right, let's pick this prompt. Ta-da-ta-da. What does he say? A deck with red backs. Ooh, this is also like It's very aesthetic. Like this whole like prompt prompt situation this time around is very aesthetic. A deck with red backs. I can't off the top of my head think of any of my decks that have red backs except for maybe the Mars Power Tarot. And oh, I'm pretty sure that I have an Oracle deck that has red backs. Um, and let me see. So maybe we can find something, an oracle, because that would be good to add in because I have a few tarots and just one oracle. Let's see if we can find an oracle with red backs. Okay, be right back. Okay, so the prompt said a deck with red backs. Okay, so I grabbed 3 decks, 1 tarot, and 2 oracles. I wonder if you can guess, those of you that maybe know what I have in my collection or just like know the decks out there. So let me show you the tarot that I grabbed first. Um, and I'm very tempted to put this in the basket now as well because I love this deck. It's the Stunning Tarot by Yonasa Yaos. This is the 4th edition. It's funny because I have Yonasa Yaos her self-titled tarot deck as part of my 25 and 25, but like yeah, this deck definitely has red backs. I love red. I could have grabbed the Mary Magdalene Oracle, which I know has red backs, but I decided against that because that's a deck that I just naturally use all the time. So here are the beautiful red backs. um that's so funny because I think BB just did all my pink and red decks, all her pink and red decks, which I think was a tag that she grabbed from somewhere else. I can't remember who started it, but I was wondering like, do I have enough pink or red decks to do to do a VR to this? Anyway, the Stunning Tarot, I love it. I mostly love it for the sword suit because the sword suit, oddly enough, are mermaids, which like shouldn't make sense, but does make sense. Yeah, I really love this deck. I don't know if I'm feeling it right now, though, to be honest with you. And yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I might keep it in there, but I feel like there's maybe some other decks that I want to work with instead, even though this definitely does fit the bill of the red backs. So the Stunning Tarot, I mean, it's an option. It's an option. Then I have 2 Oracle decks. So this one has been kind of like on the chopping block for me to rehome, but then my daughter wanted me to keep everything that I was thinking of rehoming. And so I ended up keeping it and it's been sitting in the closet. So this is a Stacey DeMarco Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle. This is from the iconic Medusa to mermaids, Valkyries and vampires, Selkies and Sibyls. Find your truth in the deep, the dark, and the dangerous. So this deck includes stunning images of the world's deep creatures, dark goddesses and gods, and dangerous heroes and shadows. So this crosses, oh, maybe it's not that red. Oh, I was thinking of the gilding, but the back is mostly, okay, so here, let's look at the back. It's not all red. It has some red, but it's not all red. So maybe this doesn't, and we have the red edges there. Maybe this doesn't fit the prompt. But yeah, so this has we have creatures and gods and goddesses and heroes and villains across like different mythologies, cultures, etc. And I've struggled with the Stacey DeMarco decks. So here's werewolf, and the keyword, if you see real teeny tiny there, is change. Um, I don't know. This deck, yeah, I'm not feeling this deck. And it doesn't really fit the prompt. I swear I thought that it was all red just because like look at all that. That's probably why I thought of it. And then okay, so that's going to be a no. So we have it between the Stunning Tarot and this deck, which I think if you can tell by my face, this is probably the one that I want to use the most. the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck. So, and I think that this might work well with the Jupiter Power Tarot, maybe? It could, but it definitely has a red back. And I just love the simplicity of this deck. So it's just these, oh, the sun is like dancing across my face. So it's just these symbols, and titles. And I've used this a little bit, but not a whole lot yet. And I definitely, yeah, I feel like this is the kind of vibe, this like artwork, this very, yeah. I might have another deck that I'd want to pair this with, um, as well. I think it would look, I think it would look good with the Elemental Tarot. I think it would look good with, the Dang Olson, yeah, Dream Tarot, which I was thinking of wanting to use this month as well. So I might pull it in because of that too. I might, yeah. But we'll see. At the end of the month, I'll show you what decks I ended up with that weren't from the TBR jar because I might, also grab other decks to use. But like, look at this deck. This is so cool. This is it. Yeah. Look at the butterfly card. This is such a good deck. It's can go with so many things, and like I feel like these symbols are so, they're very expansive and I can really work with them. Time. Yeah, I like it. I really do. So yeah, so that is a deck with red backs. The Sacred Symbols Oracle is what we're gonna use. Yay. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna shake up the jar, and this is gonna be the last prompt, I think. Because I've been picking, no, I guess not multiple for each one. Only the first one I did multiple decks. All right, let's dig in and see what she gives us. Okay, this is the one. So what does the prompt say? This is so much fun, I swear. If you guys haven't done something like this, you should totally do it. Okay, a deck I read differently than how it was intended. A deck I read differently than how it was intended. So I guess that's like a deck that I use in a different way than it was meant to be used. So if it's a tarot deck that I use more like an oracle, or yeah, that's what I'm thinking. A tarot deck that I use more like an oracle. Hmm. I think I do have something in mind. Or if I like ignore the titles of the oracle and just like use the artwork maybe as my own thing. That's an idea. This one's tough. All right, so I'm gonna go to the shelves. I'm gonna think about it, but I think it's more than likely gonna be like a tarot that I use more like an oracle. Let's see. So the prompt was a deck that I read differently than how it was intended. Now this is tough. I think I grabbed three options that are wildly different from each other. And I think it's just because I was thinking like this is a deck that I pretty much like kind of ignore. Like if it's a tarot deck, I ignore the tarot kind of part of it and just read it intuitively, like using the artwork maybe. I don't know. Let me grab one that calls itself an oracle, right? So this is the Tantric Dakini Oracle, and it has a tarot structure in it, but I believe it's missing without the court cards. I don't know because I don't pay attention to that structure in it at all. And I think, I mean, there's also a lot to it with the guidebook that has to do with tan, you know, tantra, and I promise you I don't know anything really about that. And I've read like pieces of the guidebook when I've used this deck before, but for the most part, this deck is just about the imagery, but more than the imagery, really, it's about the titles of it. Cosmic Carrot. And I would never ever snip the titles off of this deck because I love that wording so much. It's so like different and funny. I mean, I know that it's serious too, but like, and I take it seriously as well. But like, yeah, I don't, whatever structure this deck has, it's not in how I use it at all. Um, it is really just 100% about like the feeling that I get from and the, associations that I have with the particular image and the particular title on the card. Soma, living goddess. Some of them are just like, beautiful. And then some of them are like super weird. The last laugh, the future. Yeah, there's like a past, present, and future card. I don't know that I've even paid attention to that either. But like, yeah, it ranges. This deck has such a range, I think. I love this. I love a mermaid card, deep end. But I'm not sure. I mean, I think it fulfills the prompt, but I'm not sure that I'm feeling like I want to work with the Tantric Dakini Oracle this month. I have definitely used it in the past. Um, okay, so I have another option here. I have two more. So this is the Goblins and Gardens Tarot. And I think I grabbed this because I don't really, honestly, I mean, I don't really pay attention to the tarot connotations of this deck. Like, I know that they're there. Um, so this could have been like a fancy deck, kind of, because of the gilding. But it is all collage of garden magazines and Dungeons and Dragons like books. And so like this is the Knight of Cups, but like this is just it's so like whimsical and um I mean what other word other than whimsical? It's whimsical, it's funny. Like look at this. This is the Two of Cups now, right? It's hard to like really see the tarot in there because you have such character in front of you. Um It's just fabulous. I think it's like all mood for me. And I look at this guy. What is that? The Nine of Coins. But I think you could really just go on the artwork and kind of do like a little bit of a narrative, which is something that I have done. I mean, like, I don't entirely ignore the tarot associations, but like the guidebook, which I do read, is like it's really different. I think it's like lines of poetry or quotes. Queen of Wands. I mean, it's probably easier with the court cards too, but this is Eight of Coins. Okay, yeah, it's Eight of Coins, but I think you can like really like pull back from the tarot and just sort of like feel the story element in here and just the vibe, the feeling that you get. Um, I mean, so I guess it fits the prompt. It does fit the prompt. And this is I think a good deck for March. I'm not sure though that I want to use it right now, even though I'm really like enjoying looking at it. I don't know if I want to read with it this month. I think maybe not. Strangely. I think maybe not. Maybe I'm not into Gardens and Goblins tarot right now. Maybe not. So let's see. Okay, here's the last option, and I think I kind of really want to use this deck. So I guess I saved it for last. Um, well, have I been mentioning what's mass market and what's indie? Probably not. So it doesn't matter now, but this is an indie deck. This is the Stolen Child Tarot by Monica. I haven't named any of the other creators. Monica L. Knighton. This is one of those magnetic guys. Okay, so the artwork in this deck is stunning. And they here's the backs, and they've renamed the suits. Uh, so in this deck, pretty much like it's just so outside of tarot because this is Two of Zephyrs. So I think that would be Two of Swords, Two of Air. Um, It's just like honestly about the image. And I could, I could look at the star. I mean, you can like work your way from the ground up, like start with your tarot foundation and then build upon that with the image. But I find that when I have used this deck, it's been just mostly intuitive. So I'm not sure that I'm really using it as a tarot deck. I think the way that it was intended, it's something else. This is also, look at that. This is also a deck that is a bit of an inner child deck for me, Stolen Child, but it's also it reminds me so much of this cartoon that my sister and I used to love when we were little called Water Babies. And I mean, I think it's based on a book where these two children, or is it one? Maybe it's one. It starts out live action and then they fall. I think it's set in the UK. And yeah, I think they're British. And this child is in an orphanage or something. And it starts out live action and then they fall into this river stream. And when they fall into the stream, it becomes a cartoon, and it's this like underwater world. There's this whole thing with a lobster. There's definitely mer babies in there as well. And this artwork just reminds me of it so much. I don't know what about it does, because it's like if you were to go look up this cartoon, you might not agree with me, but it just reminds me of that. Like this guy. What is there a man? This is a manatee for sure. But I think there might be like a big walrus. Yeah, I think there's a big walrus in the cartoon. Anyway, all that to say that the Stolen Child Tarot, I think it fits this prompt because I don't, it like, like, it's more about associating the images. And I really don't think I use it so much as tarot. But I could. I mean, I don't know how I'll use it this month, but I think I want to. I love the Emperor and the Empress in in this deck, not in this card. Yeah, look at this one. This is also really haunting. That's another thing about this deck. Like this imagery is beautiful and it's also quite haunting. Because the Stolen Child, it's also based on look at this Hermit card, right? It's based on a poem, The Stolen Child. So, okay. So yeah, so that is the Stolen Child Tarot and it fits the last prompt. So we're gonna put everything in the basket from and review the decks that we chose. I chose. Okay, so for the first prompt, we had the deck with silver edges. So I ended up with three decks. So the Ostara Tarot, the Jupiter Power Tarot, and the Seasons of the Witch Ostara Oracle. So I think those are actually going to be like a fun little trio. I don't know, maybe I'll use Jupiter Power with those Oracle cards too. We'll see. And then the next prompt was a fancy deck. So we ended up going with Le Tarot Noir. And then we did a deck with red backs. So I chose the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck. So it's going here in the basket. And then finally, a deck I read differently than how it was intended. And we ended up with the Stolen Child Tarot. So that's it. That is my basket, my basket of decks that my TBR jar chose for me. So that's exciting. And I ended up with one of these decks as one of my 25 and 25 that I wanted to use. So that's working out really well too. This was so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Tell me if you are doing something similar. I'd love to hear about it. Tell me what you think of the decks that I picked. And if you have more prompts for the TBR jar, please leave them in the comments below. That would be so fun to add more to this as I go along. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. As always, I appreciate you. So yeah, thank you. And I hope that you all have a beautiful, wonderful month of March and a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye.